today's segment of the Creative Teachers Training. It's great to have all of you here again. I can see familiar faces that we had the other time. Even if you're new, I'll take this opportunity and say, welcome once again, distinguished educators. Welcome to this segment. So let me go straight into what we have for this session. Like my MD said earlier, this session we are looking at the Introduction to Teachers Empowerment Program. Introduction to Teachers Empowerment Program. Empowerment is very important because of our value in society. How we are empowered is very, very important. What we are given to be able to carry out our role is very, very important. Now let's take for instance a typical scenario in a classroom, in every school, almost schools, let's say. In a staff room, you see students, you see teachers rather, they will come out. Maybe the person is just coming back from lecture, just coming back from class. And he's like, I'm tired. I don't know. This particular child, this Ihan action, this Chinoso, this student, as the case may be, I don't know what I will do for this child. I have thought and thought and thought. It's as if nothing is entering that child's brain. I don't know what else to do. Or you hear this particular class. You see this big class. It depends on what you call it in your school. You see this big class. There's nothing you take this class and it will enter their brain. What do? I don't know what to do. The other person will be from the other side and say, your own is just the class. Your own is just distance. Me, I'm tired. The workload is much. The workload on us teachers is much. You'll be expected to prepare your lesson notes, you teach, you will mark, you will even mark notes, and they will expect you to read in between lines to be able to identify errors in that notes. See, I'm tired. I don't know what else to do. Now, these are more as bigger scenarios we see in our staff room. We see teachers, when they are talking, when they are discussing. We are teachers, we know these things. These are the things we see. These are the things we hear. So we are looking at now, what can we do to change these kind of scenarios? What can we do to help these our teachers? So that the workload they are looking at can reduce. I think we spoke something about it the previous session, the previous day. That's why this particular topic now, Teachers Empowerment Program, it's a continuation from the topics we discussed. The last time we talked about limitations to the education system, then the need for teachers' motivation, and SDS concept of education. I think that was the best of it. Because our concept of education is centered greatly on empowerment. But whether it's teachers' empowerment, students' empowerment, that is the center of our attention in our creative teachers training, in the packages we have for schools. So it is a continuation from that one till this day. So we say empowerment through professionalism is the answer to this question, is the answer to this problem. Empowerment through professionalism. Empowerment through professionalism means gaining influence. I want us to write it down. It means gaining influence, confidence, and authority in your field. Gaining influence, confidence, and authority in your field. Authority in your field by becoming highly competent, ethical, and intentional as a teacher. By becoming highly competent, ethical, and intentional as a teacher. Becoming intentional as a teacher. You can't do without it. That's the only thing that will help you to overcome this burnout, will help you to overcome this stress that you face in the classroom every day. Because you are intentional as a teacher, it will give you value. The things you will do to change the situation will give you value in your school. It will give you value in your environment. Let's say for instance, because we came for this training the other day, and you heard when one of the speakers talked about giving your children tasks if they are having problem in class. You give them tasks for them to handle. That as long as their brain, their mind is busy, their mouth will not be busy. So you have a particular child in your class. It usually happens in the primary session. You have a particular child in your class, and that child is overactive, hyperactive. I think that's the word for it. That child is always from one desk to the other desk. He will pick this person, he will touch the other person. He says, sit down and copy your notes here. That's the worst. Sit down and copy which notes. And most times, these things parents know about it. Because some of them, they do it even from home. You tell them to sit down and eat your food. They are prepared for school. You are rushing as a parent. You want them to do fast before the school bus comes. You tell them, sit down and eat your food. You come to that and check what you put on where. By the time you come back, then I'm married. So the parents, they know these things. And they count on us teachers to help them. Most of them don't have the time. They don't spend much time with their children, but we do. So because we've learned what the last speaker talked about in the previous training, you look at this and you say, okay, what do I do to help this child? What do I do to control this child's activeness? It may not be reading. That child, if you sit down and start solving something, it may not work. By the time you come to attend to the other child, is already in the chair. You may not work with that kind of child. Well, do you know what you can do? You can use recreational activities. You can use games that interest that child. The first thing is identify that child's interest. What is that thing that he likes to do? Because they are hyperactive, they would like to play. You make use of games that can catch their attention. So you have stress. You want to run around. You can use, there's something I saw one Chinese parent was doing. They put rubbers or something like that on cups of different colors. Then keep the rest somewhere at the back. Then if that's what interests that child, you tell the child, oh yeah, let's play this game. Why the other ones are reading? You're just trying to harness something that is in that child. It will take extra effort. I will agree. It will take extra time. I agree. But you want to make a change so that your work will become easier. So you take that little period. Oh yeah, you go. You place it. Oh yeah, if you pick it, you can match it to that. Pick it and then match it to that. You have strength to run. Oh yeah, use someone and channel your energy there. We have a project related to it. We are designing it. It will be our mind solution. We call it neurostimulus system. You design recreational activities that could stimulate their brain. Recreational activities that could stimulate their brain, help them to focus, help and get their attention so that they can be able to learn what you're teaching them in the classroom. But that one is coming, it will soon be out. So we said, recreation should not just be for fun. It can also be used for learning. So these things will give you value as a teacher. It will give you empowerment in your profession, rather. It will give you value. Because nobody will carry power. Minded talked about power when he was starting. Nobody will give you power as a teacher. Power in teaching is earned. Earned. That's the word. It is earned through value. The value you add in your school, the value you add in your students. He talked about making sure your environment, that is the school you find yourself, you are making an impact in that school. It will give you power. It will give you influence. Imagine that particular child now, you've been able to do those game activities with the child, and with time, at least they have something they are beginning to focus on. They have something they are beginning to focus on. You've gotten the child's attention at least. You've succeeded in making that child pay attention It will make you have control of your learning environment, of your teaching environment. Have control in your classroom. I said, when you consistently add value to students' lives, your influence naturally increases. Having value means controlling your classroom atmosphere. It means controlling emotional responses, both of your own and that of the students. Let me not talk much on this because we'll get to emotional intelligence. When I get there, I will explain better. Controlling emotional responses. Controlling your professional development. Because of that value, that parents are saying that you're able to improve the child's life. They will talk about you. They will defend you. Even those students will defend you. Those students that you listen to, that you take care of in the class, you go the extra mile to make sure that you add value to their life. Anywhere anybody is talking about you, they will defend you that way. You made them to learn what you're teaching them, and they are able to defend the subject that you've taught them. You're taking control of your professional development. Now, controlling the quality of learning you deliver. Then ultimately, it helps you control the quality of life you will live. I know of a teacher in one school around here. Because of how good he is, like my mate talked about his own experience that day. Because of how good this teacher is, he has students that are under his training. He has students that he's tutoring rather. And because there are many of them, he can't be going to their houses individually. He has to gather them in the school. And parents will pay premium to have that teacher tutor their child. To tutor their children. They will pay premium. At the end of the month, he earns more than they are paying him as salary. So your influence, your value that you have, it may seem like a lot of work right now, but with time it will pay you. With time it will pay you. Now when students understand deeply because of you, when parents see transformation because of you, when learners confidently defend what you taught them, it is power. It gives you authority, it gives you confidence, it gives you influence. Professional empowerment requires you going the extra mile. It requires intention. It requires you going the extra mile for your school, for your students. Why am I holding this thing in my hand? Wendy was telling us a story the other day. He said that the last school he taught before he left teaching, I think 1998 or so, that the last exam they took, they were still writing questions on the board. And he said he met the principal and said, can we print out these questions and give them? It will be easier for them and even for the teacher. And the principal said, where did this be going to go? And he thought about it and he knew that it's going to make a difference. And he decided to use his own money and print it. And print question papers for students. For the school. It's not just for the students now. It has made an impact even in the school. People who go out and say, you know, we wrote the exam. And they don't write the questions on the board for us. We had question papers. They printed it. See, it's here. It says courtesy of Asian. And he still has that question paper till today. Now the question is, how many of us here as teachers, let's say they do school brochure, how many of you will be able to keep it till years later? Anytime you bring it out, when I was teaching in this school we did this for me, and I did this for the students. The students were like this, and the school was like this. You're still promoting the school. You're still promoting yourself as well. How many of us can even do it? It's still because of the value we're talking about, even when you have left the teaching profession. For you to be able to have all these things I'm talking about, as a teacher, you have to keep learning. Learning never ends. We talk let's look at briefly at what teacher development program is. The teacher development program is designed to refresh, strengthen, and motivate teachers. It is designed to refresh, strengthen, and motivate teachers. It is a structured development system that strengthens teachers in five major areas. The first one is mindset and professional identity. It strengthens teachers in five major areas: mindset and professional identity, creative pedagogy, classroom leadership, adaptive innovation, and personal growth and influence. That's the last one. Personal growth and influence. When we talk about empowerment, it's not mere motivation, not where we're just talking and want to do this one. It goes beyond talk. That's the truth. It goes beyond just speaking. But how do we put these things we've learned into practice? Because I can tell you, we always advocate for learning, intentional learning by yourself, both as a teacher and even your students. That's what we say, you should train your students to take up their learning process by themselves. Even you as a teacher, your empowerment should be an intentional thing on your own as well. Don't wait for the school. Don't wait for government. For schools, I don't know if that's school administration said, schools also have to do their own. I appreciate Mommy here for bringing her own staff for this program. It's one of the things we are talking about. Schools have their own role to play. The government have their own role to play. Let's do those ones. Their own is there. But what do we do on our own part? So mindset transformation. Because like you said the other day, we are nation builders. Teachers are nation builders. The mindset you have as a teacher towards your job determines the outcome of what you create. It determines the level of people that you create. It determines the value that you give. The mindset you have. You're not just there to teach and deliver lessons. You're not just there to produce people that will come and write exams. Let's not go over it again. We talked about it the other day. You're there to make a change. But that change starts from your own mindset, you personally. You have to change how you think, how you see your students. Some of them, I know that there may be a thorn in our flesh. But if we understand that it is our own calling, we are like parents. If your child is misbehaving, you tell this child to do this today, you can't do another thing. Do this one, you can't do. You're not throw the child away. You will find a way to do other things for your own child to prosper. That's how these students are to us. So you have to work on your mindset, how you view them, how you see your work. It may be tiresome sometimes. But it may be tiresome, but when you see them in a different light, it will make a difference on how you treat them, how you relate with them. Now, creative pedagogy is part of the things that the last thing I will talk about, that's the beginning of it. We have other things, solutions we have for you, 8 of them. That will help you enhance your creative pedagogy. That is the way you teach. It requires creativity on your own part as a teacher. It requires creativity. Let's say you want to teach, you're teaching English and you're teaching adjectives. You go to class, instead of telling your students, you start dictating the meaning of adjectives to them. You can tell them, stand up. They stand up. And then you face your neighbor. You face your neighbor. Look at this person. What do you see? Describe this person you're seeing. In 1 word or 2 words. You see them, they'll say, this person is she's tall, she's fat, she's stubborn, she's this, depending on what they know them about. You say these things you mentioned now, they are called adjectives. Because they describe a noun, they modify a noun. You're like, oh, okay, then you start explaining what it intelligence. Someone talked about the other day how teachers abuse their children, the students in their class. You're very stupid, you're this. It's lack of emotional intelligence sometimes, even though we are, some things also contribute to it. But emotional intelligence will help you. That emotional intelligence is the ability to understand others' feelings while you manage your own. A child comes to class like this, and maybe even in the secondary school, and this girl, she's always sleeping. When you're teaching, anytime you enter your class, she's sleeping. You try to find out why you're always sleeping in class. The child may say, anytime I wake up every morning, I have to help my mom and dad and sell if I come to school. Maybe government schools, it happens there. But if you don't know, you'll be that place you are and shout, who is that stupid girl that's sleeping there? Who is that idiot that's sleeping there? Am I too small for you to see that I'm in this class? Come on, will you stand up from that place? You're going to stand till the end of this class. You've destroyed everything that child is about to learn. There's nothing you will say that day that student will learn. But if you understand their problem and you say, child, that's it. So, you know what we'll do? I think you just stand up. Just stand up and be walking around while I'm talking so that you stay awake. That child can even decide on her own to stand up to the end of the class. Just to make sure she learns what you're teaching because of how you've been able to empathize with her situation and not shout at her. Emotional intelligence is what will make you correct your students in love. You correct them in love, not just shouting at them. So leadership is not about dishing out orders and shouting and correcting with high voices. You can lead even when you're using a very low voice, because you're showing them love. They want to do what you're saying. They want to impress you. Mind you mentioned that the word expression means impression. They want to impress you because of the impact you have made in their life, because of the way you treat them in the classroom. You don't treat them like animals. You treat them like human beings that they are. You treat them like you have understanding of what they are going through. And the last one says professional growth and influence. An empowered teacher goes beyond the classroom. You go beyond just teaching and learning in the classroom. When I was serving in Port Harcourt, we were doing this mentoring program. We were mentoring students. I heard a lot of things that these students would not even tell their own parents. A child came to me and said, I don't know what I did to my mom. Every time she just shouting at me. Because one of the teachers in the school told her that there's this boy I used to follow and go home, and I won't come home stressed. Where did the teacher even see me? Since then, anything I say, my mom will not believe. Anytime I come back from school, she's going to shout. So because of that, even when they close from school, to go home will be a problem for her. I had to call the mom. One day she came out like, serious, trying to understand what this girl is talking about, what she's going through. I know our teenagers can be a handful sometimes. But try and understand them. And you've created an atmosphere where those children feel secure. They feel okay with you. They want to talk to you about their problems. Not something that the child cannot tell her own parents. She's able to tell you because you spend time with them more than their own parents. Because you've been taught, you've been positioned, you've been empowered to understand your students beyond learning and teaching and learning. You understand them, their personality. Like the first speaker 2 days ago talked about knowing what each and every one of your students can do. You've understood them. It will help your professional growth and influence you have both in the school and outside the school and in the lives of the students. It's just like you being in a farm. You went to farm, and because of your efforts in the farm, you're not even the owner of the farm, but because of your efforts, they were able to have a bountiful the remaining part, that is not really as much as they want it. You, that is because of your effort, you've benefited from it already. They cannot decide to leave that one for you. Schools cannot decide to overlook some things that you're doing to earn extra money because of the influence you have, because of the impact, the value you have. Something that won't, if any other teacher does it, they will shout and correct and ridicule. You will do it and they will overlook it because they know that there's something in you. Say to yourself today, I'll be that teacher that they will look at me and say there's something in me. Talk to yourself and make up your mind that I will go the extra mile. I'll be intentional in my teaching. I will be intentional in my professional growth, in my empowerment. As long as the school will do their own part, the government will do their own part, but majorly it will be by my own efforts that I will grow in my profession. In conclusion, empowerment is contagious. One empowered teacher in a school can influence an entire staff. One empowered teacher in a school can influence an entire staff, and it becomes your culture as a school. Culture of excellence. Anybody that is coming into that school knows that you have to blend to this culture. You can't do anything more than that. And if you're living from that school as a teacher that has been empowered and influenced by the other person, if you get there, they will know that you have come, because it can't just be business as usual. You will do something different from what they are doing. And the moment you stay there, what will you do is you will be noticed because of the difference you have made. Teachers' empowerment program is not about external miracles. That's why I said the school can do their own, the government can do their own, but it is about you. It is about internal transformation. Nigeria does not like intelligent students. Nigeria does not like curriculum, they design and they done every other thing. But Nigeria we must continuously increase and strengthen our teachers. When teachers are empowered, the class will become innovative hubs. Students become thinkers and not just crammers. The other speaker, the other day said, cram and pour. And we call it in our school, la cram, la pour, la solitaire. You just cram, you can't pour it, and you forget it. So they will move from being just crammers to thinkers. Schools become center of excellence because of that one empowered teacher. Imagine when they have a lot of empowered teachers in the school, they will become the center of excellence. And finally, the nation will move forward. There will be transformation in our nation, Nigeria, because of the kind of education system that we have, because of the kind of teachers we have in our nation. The nation will become great. Say to yourself, I'll be a national transformer.
I'll be a national transformer.
Say to yourself, I'll be a great future holder. Say to yourself, I'll make an impact wherever I am located. Since as we have said all these things and many more, the trainings are going to continue. We'll have more empowerment programs coming. And when we go out there and practice it, implement it and not just hear it. And one of what do I call this? One of the things you gain from coming for this training is that as an empowered teacher, if you are implementing all these things we've taught, if we see schools that are looking for good teachers, because you're in our alumni, we'll recommend you. And the same way, if we see a school that is doing well, because we know the kind of teachers they have, if the parents say, I'm looking for a school. People ask me, because they know we work for schools. I'm looking for a school that is like this and like that. We can always recommend our schools that we work with. We can always recommend our friends. Thank you very much for being a part of this training.